Hello and welcome to this quick video on the different types of curriculum theory. So what we're going to do in this video is hopefully give you a broad overview of some of the key curriculum ideologies. So just before we get started, this is all based on the work of Michael Stephen Shiro. So we're going to start with these four main ideologies. The first is the scholar academic ideology. Then we'll look at the social efficiency ideology, then the learner-centered ideology, and lastly, the social reconstruction ideology. So let's start with the scholar academic ideology. So the main ideas involved in this scholar academic ideology is that culture over the years, over the thousands of years, has accumulated important knowledge. And we've organised that in our society into academic disciplines. We teach those different academic institutions in a university. And the purpose is to try and help children learn that accumulated knowledge, what we've created within those different disciplines. So what does that actually involve? Well, to actually understand an academic discipline, there are several different areas to consider. So it involves learning its content, the conceptual frameworks around it, and the ways of thinking within that discipline. So the ways of thinking as a historian are different ways of thinking as maybe a scientist. And teachers should be mini scholars who help develop the understanding of that discipline. The ultimate aim is obviously those main scholars at university. So the aim of that discipline is that we want the extension of it. So we want to introduce young people into our disciplines. So the extension of that discipline is accomplished through the transmission of its knowledge. So what is that knowledge as a historian? What is that knowledge as a scientist? And the curriculum provides the means of transmitting that knowledge. So we construct a curriculum in such a way that reflects the essence of that discipline. So we talk about disciplinary knowledge. What is different from X subject in terms of disciplinary knowledge and Y subject? How do they think differently within those disciplines? The next one we're going to look at is social efficiency ideology. So the main aims of this ideology that we efficiently meet the needs of the society that we are in. So we think very much about the society, what society needs. So we train youth to function as mature, contributing members of society. So maybe more of a focus on jobs, for example. So we'll look at skills and procedures that they'll need in the workplace, but we'll also look at the skills and procedures you need at home. So that whole kind of raft of ideas to contribute to society. So what we therefore do is we build competencies and activities that are capable of performing. So we want them to be able to perform certain activities, build on certain competencies. And we want them to function. The functions of these are for social productivity. So we really might think more of a vocational kind of courses for this. And learners may require a lot of practice to gain mastery of those skills. So what you need, therefore, to do is really need to determine what the needs of society are in the first place. So if, for example, you have a dearth of engineers in society, well, you might decide that you need more engineers, and that should be the aim of that, the courses. So the emphasis very much is on what society needs. And when we measure things, they are concrete objectives. They're very specific competencies that we want to build on. The next one we're going to look at is this learner-centered ideology. So the focus of this learner-centered ideology is not on the needs of society or academic disciplines, but on the individual. And we want schools and courses to be enjoyable places where people develop naturally. So we want them to develop according to their own innate natures, not predetermined disciplines that we've decided, but their own innate natures. And they develop their own unique intellectual, social and emotional and physical attributes. So actually, when we look at this, it's more about bringing out the inherent intellect within students. So students must actualize their own capabilities, and people are essentially good in nature, they believe. And education involves drawing out the inherent capabilities of people. So the interaction of a person and his environment is really important. So it's that social interaction, and it's assumed that the construction of meaning is unique to the individual. So there might be within this kind of ideology the view that people are more naturally capable as mathematicians or more naturally capable scientists. And it's important for educators to create context in order to generate that growth. And the last ideology we'll look at very quickly is this idea of social reconstruction. So the main aims in this one is that you're conscious of the problems in our society and of our society and the injustice done to the members of society. So these injustices could be racial, it could be about gender, social, economic inequality. So you're teaching them about those inequalities in society. And we want a construction of a more just society. So what you're doing within this one is you're viewing curriculum from a social perspective, and that you assume that our current society is unhealthy, that survival is threatened, that something needs to be done. And we need to do that thing so that society doesn't destroy itself. So this involves developing a vision for our society. So it might be, for example, we want less inequality within society. So lastly, obviously, what it's really looking at is that society is going through a crisis. Therefore, truth, knowledge are undergoing a crisis, and people question the idea of what is truth, what isn't truth, what is knowledge, what isn't knowledge, who are the experts, who aren't the experts. And the idea is you want to try and remove undesirable social values and replace them with more desirable values.